Talking with you again today from Emmanuel United Church in Waterloo, Ontario. And the gospel passage for this week is from Luke 10, and it's the story of the Good Samaritan. And in this story, we're told that a lawyer approaches Jesus to try to trap him. So there were probably a group of people who were coming to test Jesus to trap him, because their commandment was that you are to love God and you are to love your neighbor as yourself. But here's the thing. Who is my neighbor? Well, as soon as I read that, I thought immediately about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that long-running children's program on television. And every show would start the same way. Mr. Rogers would come into his house, he had put on his sweater, and he would sing that song, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" And so, in both the neighborhood of Mr. Rogers as well as in the kingdom of God, it turns out that everyone is my neighbor. But the people who were trying to test Jesus were not expecting that answer. And so the fascinating thing about the story that Jesus tells them in response is that the people who are trying to trap him are featured in the story, but not in a good light. I'm sure that both the priest and the Levite, who refused to offer any help to the victim, were very good people. I'm sure that they carried out their job in a very responsible and efficient way. I'm sure they were very effective. I'm sure that they carried out every item of their job description in a very conscientious and complete way. And yet, they were missing the kingdom of God. And so after reading that parable, I thought, wait a minute, what if Jesus of Nazareth was still walking around today telling his parables, his kingdom stories? And what if one day he told a story about me? What if he said, there was a person who could accomplish an awful lot in the course of a day. He was very conscientious, he was very effective, he was very responsible, and yet he missed the kingdom of God and his neighbor who was right there in front of him. Well, of course, I hope that that is not the story that Jesus would tell about me, and yet that is the point of every one of these parables. The point is to make a person stop and ask, was that about me? And by the way, every clergy during the course of their life will get that question from someone. They'll be approached and they'll be asked, was that sermon about me? You were preaching about me, weren't you? And of course the answer is always, yes, it was about you. But not only about you. It was about everyone. It was also about myself. And so again today, with this story of the Good Samaritan, the invitation again is there for everyone to reflect and say, now where am I in this? How am I living out of the kingdom? How am I expressing this inner wholeness that is here in my life? This is the invitation again. Thank you.